Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, double honor to the apostles of JMS. This is Noah Allah coming at you in the video. In this video I want to go into, lesson about keeping your foot when you enter the house of the Lord. Because this is very important. This is how you interact with, how you conduct yourself in the truth, and how you interact with brothers. So let's get right to it. See what this means. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 1. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of the Most High. Now let's go into that. Keep your foot. Now we know in the scripture there's figurative language like or symbolic language like walking with the Most High. That's symbolic. That's living your life, conducting your life according to the scriptures. So when you keep your foot when thou goest to the house of the Most High, that means if you call yourself walking with the Most High, you got to keep your foot. I mean, you got to be aware of your feet. You got to be aware of your steps. I mean, you got to be aware of your actions. You got to be aware of your thoughts. Or think of it like a person whose foot is you walking and you're not paying attention. Your foot can step into a trap and you can become ensnared. Just using that as an example. So keep that foot when thou goest to the house of the Most High. So you got to be conscious, be aware of your thoughts, of your emotions, be aware of your true intentions. These are things that's important. You know what I mean? And be ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools. So you want to keep your foot. You want to be very conscious, very aware of the things that you do, of your thoughts, of your intentions. And you gotta, because why? It can become a snare to you. If you're not keeping your foot, if you're not watching your foot could step right into a trap. But you can get to scripture. Don't scripture say, I can quote it real fast. Don't scripture say the lips of a fool shall swallow up himself? Don't scripture say, he that rolleth a stone, he that rolleth a stone, it could fall upon him, right? So it says, and be more ready to hear. So we're going to be more ready to hear, more ready to listen than to speak. Okay? Want to be more willing to speak. I'm sorry, be willing to hear than to speak. You got to be observant. Got to be focused. Because you could say the wrong thing and not know who you offended. And be ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools. Didn't Samuel tell Saul to obey is better than sacrifice? So the Most High is about obedience rather than sacrifice. Because if a person does something that's wrong, then let's use it as an example. Let's say it's the ancient world and a person commits a sin, they'll offer up a sacrifice, right? Well, guess what? The Most High would rather you obey, because to obey is better than sacrifice. So you want to be ready to hear than to get a sacrifice of fools. In other words, you rather obey than have to sacrifice. In other words, you rather obey than have fault be found within you. For they consider not that they do evil. That's self-explanatory. People aren't considering that they're doing evil. People aren't considering that they're doing evil. They aren't considering that. You got guys that come up and listen. They want to overtalk the speaker. Always got something to say. Just using that as an example. Got to be more willing to hear, man. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 12. The words of a wise man's mouth are gracious. That's self-explanatory. If you're a wise man, you're speaking words that's wise, obviously. Words of wisdom, knowledge, understanding according to the scriptures. That's gracious. People will accept that. They'll take heed to those words. Why? Because they understand that there's wisdom. There's things to benefit from what's being spoken. Right? But the lips of a fool will swallow up himself. But the lips of a fool, his words are ungracious. He'll swallow up himself. And he'll say things that are bringing about his own destruction. He'll say things that are bringing about his own damnation. That'll trap his own self up. Because had he kept silent, whatever befell him would not have befallen him. These things are very important. These things are very important. Alright? You don't want to speak words that lack understanding. Because those words that you speak that lack understanding will bring destruction unto you. And it's true, it's really better to listen than to speak, to be honest. And that applies to me too. You know? This is the book of Sirach 7 and 14. And the Apocrypha, also known as Ecclesiasticus, it says, use not many words in the multitude of elders. Yeah. So when you're in the midst of the elders, you're not supposed to really be talking a lot. You know? Alright? So when you're among those men that's over you, that you learn under your camp leaders, you're really not supposed to be talking a lot. You know? Using the, oh, you know what, maybe it's kind of safe for me to say something right now, because you know this brother said something and you know he didn't say nothing when he said something, so now I'm going to jump and I'm going to say something. But you don't know that brother is clocking both of y'all. He's paying attention to both of y'all. This brother did not. His brother, you know what I'm saying? You're not paying attention. You know? Using that many words in the multitude of elders. So when you're in the midst of elders, you're really not supposed to be talking a lot. You know? Those are men of wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Because these are men of knowledge. These are men of wisdom. These are men of understanding, alright? Okay? And they read in between the lines of everything you say and everything you do. And make not much babble when thou prayers. Yahushua spoke about that in Matthew 6 chapter. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 32, verse 9. It says, you know what, Sirach 32 and 8. No, what, verse 7. Speak, young man. See that? Saying young man. So that's why y'all brothers that's young in this thing. And guess what? I'm young in this thing compared to the apostles and elders. Alright? So it says, speak, young man, if there be need of thee. If it's need. See that? If it's need. If it's necessary. Speak, thou young man, if there be need of thee. So if ain't no need, you're not supposed to be saying anything. Alright? And yet scarcely when thou art twice asked. And even when you ask, if you ask twice, meaning if you're continually being asked, you still want to be scarce. Look at the word scarce. What does scarce mean? Scarcely. See? Scarcely is an adverb meaning barely, hardly, or almost not at all. So even if you're asked twice, even if you're being consistently asked, right? You still want to be scarce. You still want to hardly speak. There's a respect thing. Let thy speech be short. Comprehend much in few words, right? So you don't want to be babbling. Don't you speak about that? Let me just read that. And that's how babbling when you pray. You don't want to be babbling when you're in the midst of elders. You really want to be babbling at all. But it says, let thy speech be short, comprehend much in few words. So you want to say things that's short, you want to comprehend much in few words. You don't got to go on you don't need a lengthy, everything don't got to be lengthy. Because when you come into this thing, and you gain wisdom, knowledge, understand, you gain experience, you realize you don't always got to speak lengthily to get a point across. You speak with power. You speak with meaning behind your words. To the point where much words are not needed to be spoken. Like this show is probably going to be about 10 minutes, maybe a little longer. See? Be as one that knoweth and yet hold of his tongue. It's another thing. Be as one that knoweth, yet hold of his tongue. If the elders say, all right, who's on so-and-so? What's the scripture mean? You don't always want to be that guy to raise your hand up. Because then it look like, oh, see, that guy right there was raising his hand up. This guy looking for shine, man. This guy looking, he want to be a freaking star. This guy looking for us to be a star. You know? Be one that knoweth and yet hold of his tongue. So let's say hypothetically speaking, let's say a high ranking brother is speaking, right? And he break down the scripture. It's a certain point in that scripture he trying to hit. He only know young guys saying, yeah, but and that's also talking about, he know what it's also talking about. That's not the point you wanted to hit. You out of order. You talking like you teaching him something. So be as one that knoweth. You may know it's also talking about, but yet hold your tongue. And don't go around behind that person back. Yeah, see, that brother said so and so and so. It was also talking about this, that, and third. Because the Most High hears them words, man. So what you trying to act like that brother don't got no wisdom? And the Most High gonna deal with you. You know? If thou be among great men, make not yourself equal with them. So if you among great men, don't make yourself equal with great men. So these men that's over you, Don't make yourself equal to them. You know? Like you on their level. Yeah, I'm with the high-ranking guys. See, I'm with the apostles, man. I'm with the elders. You know? Make yourself equal with them like you on their level. Because this thing, you gotta have experience to know how to really engage and how to really, you know, conduct yourself. That's really important, man. Experience is really important. And people overlook that. They think it don't mean nothing. They think you just, you know, come into this thing saying do whatever you want. You ain't gotta worry about nothing else. Do whatever you want to do. Nah, man. Ain't that type of party, so to speak. Alright? If thou be among great men, mean not thyself equal with them. You know? Talking to high-ranking guys like you trying to shoot the breeze with them, like, yo, hey, what's going on, man? What's up, man? Talking to him like he's some dude in the hood that you just grew up with. Nah, man. You ain't supposed to be doing that. That's out of line. You don't go to talk to your father like your pops is your homeboy in the street. Not saying that we're your father, but I'm using that as an example. You know what I'm saying? I don't go around to the spirit of how about your child. I don't go around talking to the elders and apostles like I grew up with them. And I've been in camp well over 10 years. I don't talk to them like that. Lord forbid. And when ancient men are in place, using that many words. When the ancient men or older men are in place, using that many words. There you go. Before the thunder go of lightning, right? So before you see the lightning, you hear the thunder. And before a shamefaced man shall go favor. So if you do these things and you humble in sincerity, favor will be shown unto you. You know? And the Most High reward you for that. So with that, I'm going to close and say, all praise to Habashim Yashah, double on the positive GMS. I hope you learned something. Shalom.